Welcome back to Retirement News Online. Financial security in retirement doesn't just happen. It takes planning and commitment and, yes, of course, money. Now, the average American now spends 20 years in retirement, and fewer than half have calculated how much they actually need to save to get there. Joining me is Paul Mysyk in Eastlake, Ohio. So, Paul, a lot of pre-retirees think retirement planning is only accumulation, but it's a lot more than that, isn't it?
It is. Accumulation planning is like the first leg of a round trip ticket. It requires the thought and the planning, the coordination, and addressing those changes that happen along the way. But once you arrive, that's when we're supposed to have fun, build memories, and we want to take those memories back and share them with our family. When I meet with a client or a couple for the first time, we talk about how we're going to plan, and I show them a picture of a retirement mountain. And I ask them, I'm going to be with you this whole time, and I'm going to coordinate to have all the equipment that we're going to need to have. We're going to climb this mountain together. I want to ask you, in looking at this mountain, what do you think our goal is? And 9 out of 10 times they'll say to get to the top. And my response is, the top's going to be beautiful. We're going to have a panoramic view of the whole world. We're going to take some great pictures. But isn't the ultimate goal getting down that mountain safely, going back to our families and friends and sharing that experience for the rest of our lives, even with our grandkids? And they'll look at me and invariably say, yeah, that would be nice. So what I do is I take the accumulation plan and I merge it with a preservation plan. And in doing so, we address all the contingencies that happen in retirement to prevent adverse situations from happening that would adversely affect the retirement.
So some people can overlook the importance of preservation planning, can't they?
Yes, as I was just saying, preservation planning is the second leg of the round trip. We've got to get down that mountain. We've got to address all those contingencies in retirement that we're invariably going to run into. On the top of that list is taxes. You know, people say that we're going to be paying less taxes in the future, but that's not necessarily true. We have to address inflation, the cost of living. We have to address healthcare cost and long-term care costs. And that's the point that people misunderstand. They think when they get in retirement, being that they don't have a mortgage anymore, that their income needs are going to be down. But studies are showing today that the average cost of healthcare in retirement is $300,000 to $400,000. That's a new mortgage. So retirement income needs are probably not going to go down. The other things we need to address are economic things that happen here in the United States or in the world that adversely affect our retirement planning, and there's nothing we can do about it. We've got to address that. And then lastly, longevity and legacy. We've got to make sure that we build a plan where the income that we are deriving from it lasts for life. And when we pass on from this life, we want to make sure that we're leaving it to our families and our charitable foundations and not adversely leaving it to the government.
Now, we can't talk about retirement planning without talking about taxes. Why is that so important?
Taxes are that key, that first step down the retirement mountain. Most of the income that my clients derive in retirement are going to come from their qualified money, their 401ks and their IRAs. Well, when you take that money out, remember, you haven't paid taxes on it yet. You're still going to have to pay federal, state, local, and city taxes. In retirement, we have a new tax. It's called the provisional tax, which you get on Social Security. So we have all the taxes that we had in our working years, but now we've got a new tax, a provisional tax. And what don't we have in retirement? We don't have the write-offs that we had in our working years. Gone are the mortgage interest write-off that we have in our house because it's paid off or mostly paid down. We no longer can write off our kids. We don't get the dependent credit or the child credit any longer. If you owned a business and you sold it and you're retired now, you no longer have those write-offs that you had in the business. And in retirement as a senior, where in your working years you might have been giving to charities with finances and cash, most seniors donate their time to charities in their senior years, and you can't write off time. So you have more taxes in retirement, and you have no write-offs in retirement.
That's Paul Mysyk in Eastlake, Ohio, and this is Retirement News Online.